Hi there! Today we'll check out all the different what questions. I wanted to do a short video about all the questions, but it was like opening a Pandora's box. So there's going to be a series. Today I want to talk about the question what. In Estonia it's mis. As we don't use that many prefixes in our language and change the word endings instead, the same base word gets many different forms. Some of the forms are used also separately, as a short sentence, but some of them aren't so popular. The base word mis is used separately quite often, especially when you didn't catch what someone else just said, or when you are expressing your amazement. In everyday language you may also hear another version of that question. Mis asja? Mis asja? Mis asja? If you didn't hear what someone else just said, you can ask only mis, but the longer version is what did you say? Mis sa ütlesid? Mis sa ütlesid? Mis sa ütlesid? If you want to ask what the other person is doing, then it's mis teed. Saying it very fast, it's quite tense, like the other one is doing something unexpected. Mis teed? Mis teed? Mis teed? Or mis teed? Mis teed? Mis teed? You may add you, sa in between. Mis sa teed? It makes the question more relaxed and not so tense. Mis sa teed? Mis sa teed? I think most common question where mis is used is what's this? Mis see on? When referring to something what you see at the moment. Mis see on? Mis see on? When you don't know what's the object for, you may ask mis sellega tehakse? Mis sellega tehakse? Mis sellega tehakse? When you walk in the room and you sense that something isn't quite right and want to ask what's going on, it's mis toimub? Mis toimub? Mis toimub? Or what's going on here? Mis siin toimub? Mis siin toimub? Mis siin toimub? But also less dramatic question. What's up is translated as mis toimub. Or maybe even better version that has more what's up vibe is mis teoksil? Mis teoksil? Mis teoksil? You can translate what's happening here as mis siin toimub, but the alternative way is mis siin sünnib? Mis siin sünnib? Mis siin sünnib? Ta sünnib literally means she borns, but the poetic meaning for the word sündima is to emerge or to evolve into something. If there has been a minor accident or someone is crying out loud, you may ask, what happened? Mis juhtus? Mis juhtus? Mis juhtus? What happened here? Mis siin juhtus? Mis siin juhtus? Mis siin juhtus? If you see someone in a bad mood and want to ask, what's the matter? It's mis lahti? Mis lahti? Mis lahti? What's wrong is mis viga? Mis viga? Mis viga? Mis is also used in everyday questions, like asking the time. Mis kell on? Mis kell on? Mis kell on? Or the weather. Mis ilm on? Mis ilm on? Mis ilm on? You may add today in there. Mis ilm täna on? Mis ilm täna on? Mis ilm täna on? If you want to know where the other one lives and ask their address, it's mis su aadress on? Mis su aadress on? Mis su aadress on? What are you laughing at? Mis sa naerad? Mis sa naerad? Mis sa naerad? What makes you happy? Mis teeb sind õnnelikuks? Mis teeb sind õnnelikuks? Mis teeb sind õnnelikuks? Next question is missugune, meaning what kind. It's used when you ask the other person to describe something you haven't seen yet or just don't remember. For example, what kind of car do you have? Missugune auto sul on? Missugune auto sul on? Missugune auto sul on? If you help to look for something or someone asks you to hand them an object and you want to ask which one, it's milline. Most likely there are 3 or more options in front of you and therefore you have a hard time choosing the right one. The longest sentence is which one is it? Milline see on? Milline see on? Milline see on? Which car do you have is milline auto sul on? Milline auto sul on? Milline auto sul on? Milline is quite similar to missugune. Both are asking to describe the object. But you can ask different kind of question as what is your preference? Milline on su eelistus? Milline on su eelistus? Milline on su eelistus? What kind of music do you like? Milline muusika sulle meeldib? Milline muusika sulle meeldib? Milline muusika sulle meeldib? What kind of art do you like? Milline kunst sulle meeldib? Milline kunst sulle meeldib? Milline kunst sulle meeldib? In all these questions you can say also missugune instead of milline. Sometimes which one is translated not milline but kumb. The difference is there should be only two options to choose from. Is it black or white? Is it on the desk or on the floor? And so on. And again, you can make it a little bit longer. Kumb see on? Kumb see on? Kumb see on? Another form of the word miss is mille. It's even a little bit hard to translate to English. It may be to which, for which, or yet again what. If you want to match the details together, you may ask, to which it belongs? Mille juurde see kuulub? Mille juurde see kuulub? Mille juurde see kuulub? Or if you want to specify some sentence and ask, to which it applies? Mille kohta see käib? Mille kohta see käib? Mille kohta see käib? When you don't know what some device does, you ask, for which it is? Mille jaoks see on? Mille jaoks see on? Mille jaoks see on? If you are doubting about something and want to know for which it's necessary, it's mille jaoks see vajalik on? Mille jaoks see vajalik on? Mille jaoks see vajalik on? Meeting a new person, maybe you want to ask about his interests. Mille vastu sa huvi tunned? Mille vastu sa huvi tunned? Mille vastu sa huvi tunned? If a person is involved in politics, you can ask him, what are you standing for? Mille eest sa seisad? Mille eest sa seisad? Mille eest sa seisad? Or what are you fighting for? Mille eest sa võitled? Mille eest sa võitled? Mille eest sa võitled? Some people argue against everything, even if there's no debate. Although you don't want to ask him, maybe you just think it, gosh, what are you fighting against? Mille vastu sa sõdid? Mille vastu sa sõdid? Mille vastu sa sõdid? Or mille vastu sa võitled? Mille vastu sa võitled? Mille vastu sa võitled? There are two main translations to the question what. The first one was miss. The second widely used translation is mida. Both miss and mida are used when you didn't catch what the other person just said. Mis sa ütlesid? Or mida sa ütlesid? Mida sa ütlesid? Mida sa ütlesid? If you don't know what something means, you can ask, mida see tähendab? Mida see tähendab? Mida see tähendab? What are you thinking of is translated as mida sa mõtled? Mida sa mõtled? Mida sa mõtled? If you want to use the past tense, it's mida sa mõtlesid? Mida sa mõtlesid? Mida sa mõtlesid? What do you mean is mida sa silmas pead? Mida sa silmas pead? Mida sa silmas pead? That's another figurative expression because silmas means actually in the eye. Eye is silm. What do you do is mida sa teed? Mida sa teed? Mida sa teed? And in the past tense, mida sa tegid? Mida sa tegid? Mida sa tegid? When I was a child, me and my friends, we used to call each other on weekends and we always asked, what are you doing today? Mida sa täna teed? To see if the other one is available to do something fun together or not. Mida sa täna teed? Mida sa täna teed? Here the word order can be changed. Mida sa teed täna? Mida sa teed täna? Mida sa teed täna? When you want to ask about someone else, then it's what's he doing? Mida ta teeb? Mida ta teeb? Mida ta teeb? The question from Get to Know section, what do you do in your free time, is translated as mida sa teed oma vabal ajal? Mida sa teed oma vabal ajal? Mida sa teed oma vabal ajal? Again, you can change the word order and say instead, mida sa oma vabal ajal teed? Mida sa oma vabal ajal teed? Mida sa oma vabal ajal teed? When someone is visiting you and you want to offer him a drink, then say, mida sa juua sooviksid? Mida sa juua sooviksid? Mida sa juua sooviksid? Or mida sa juua soovid? Mida sa juua soovid? Mida sa juua soovid? Soovid is more certain than sooviksid. You may ask it totally differently as well. What do you prefer? Mida sa eelistad? Mida sa eelistad? Mida sa eelistad? Or mida sa eelistaksid? Mida sa eelistaksid? Mida sa eelistaksid? What does it consist? Mida see sisaldab? Mida see sisaldab? Mida see sisaldab? To which or to what is millesse. It's quite rarely used form and I don't remember I've ever used it independently, always in the beginning of a longer question. For example, what do you believe in? Millesse sa usud? Millesse sa usud? Millesse sa usud? The next question is, in what? Milles. It can be said as well as milleses. Again, rarely used form and I could think only few examples. What's that about? Milles see seisneb? Milles see seisneb? Milles see seisneb? Probably you are familiar with that scene. The customer isn't satisfied with the service and asks for the manager. The manager appears and wants to know the question. Milles on küsimus? Milles on küsimus? Milles on küsimus? Or the problem. Milles on probleem? Milles on probleem? Milles on probleem? What? About is millest. What are you thinking about? Millest sa mõtled? Millest sa mõtled? Millest sa mõtled? What's that book about? Millest see raamat räägib? Millest see raamat räägib? Millest see raamat räägib? What does it consist? Millest see koosneb? Millest see koosneb? Millest see koosneb? To what is millele? You can translate the question what are you thinking about not only mida sa mõtled and millest sa mõtled, but also as millele sa mõtled. Millele sa mõtled? Millele sa mõtled? To which it refers? Millele see viitab? Millele see viitab? Millele see viitab? To what it's dedicated? Millele see on pühendatud? Millele see on pühendatud? Millele see on pühendatud? In case of arguing and you want to know from where the fact is originated, you can ask on which it's based. Millele see põhineb? Millele see põhineb? Millele see põhineb? The next question, on what is millel? And the example is similar to the last one. What it's based on? Millel see põhineb? Millel see põhineb? Millel see põhineb? For what is milleks? For what it's necessary? Milleks see vajalik on? Milleks see vajalik on? Milleks see vajalik on? To what is milleni? And for example, to what does it all lead to? Milleni see kõik viib? Milleni see kõik viib? Milleni see kõik viib? Actually, I didn't find a good match for the next question, which is millena. By itself, the word is quite rarely used, but the example goes like that. What it looks like. Millena see näib? Millena see näib? Millena see näib? Or millena see paistab? Millena see paistab? Millena see paistab? Without what is milleta, but again, rarely used separately. Without what can't you live is milleta sa elada ei suuda? Milleta sa elada ei suuda? Milleta sa elada ei suuda? Millega is with what. What are you doing can be translated as millega sa tegeled? Millega sa tegeled? Millega sa tegeled? What have you been up to lately? Millega sa viimasel ajal oled tegelenud? Millega sa viimasel ajal oled tegelenud? Millega sa viimasel ajal oled tegelenud? What are you not happy with? Millega sa rahul pole? Millega sa rahul pole? Millega sa rahul pole? When you are dealing with people you don't know and want to be polite, you can replace sa with te. Millega te rahul ei ole? Millega te rahul ei ole? Millega te rahul ei ole? Also, pole and ei ole are synonyms. The opposite is millega sa rahul oled? Millega sa rahul oled? Millega sa rahul oled? That's all for today. Aitäh! Thank you so much for listening and see you next time. Bye!